Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the charts for Zilliqa to take a look at what's been going on most recently and what I would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. You can also hit the thanks button down below as well now. Now if you happen to be new to the channel, why not consider subscribing? Tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you're not going to miss another video here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't joined us in Discord, a link for this Discord server is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? Okay guys, let's waste no more time. Let's jump right down into Zilliqa here, right? Zilliqa paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. Now straight off the bat, we obviously made some assumptions previously and it hasn't held up. So we can now revise what I spoke about a couple days ago and really kind of take stock of the situation. So here we were tracking a 5-wave move upwards, as in we had 1, 2, 3 hitting 1.618 of our first wave. We then started to see this actual pullback down. Now this pullback down invalidates this as a 5-wave structure, so we can go ahead and remove that, and we can remove our Fibonacci retracement tool here. It also means that we can remove this scope for the upper end. We can get rid of that, and we'll get rid of this one here as well. But what we'll still do is leave in here our invalidation of our 5th wave. Okay, so we are in this 5-wave structure. That's still valid. We haven't gone higher than 0.07098. Okay, so let's now get a good grasp over what is going on here. We've obviously started trading sideways and we had this little push to the upside here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to get a good grasp, a good idea as to what was going on inside this moment where we broke up to the upside. Okay, so straight away I can just draw a couple of trend lines on here. Not the best things to use in the world, but you know, it helps us illustrate exactly what's going on with this sideways trade. This is also known as a continuation pattern. Okay, so we had this upward move. Okay, we traded sideways, and then once this sideways trade had finished, we continued what led into it, which was up. So basically here you have a nice ABC structure. It's very, very straightforward, very, very easy. So essentially what you got is A, you got B, you got C. Okay, there's nothing more to it to kind of note about that. Now we're tracking this move to the downside. Okay, and here we can see we have a pretty standard ABC structure moving down in a subwave count. We bring the stochastic RSI back into play. You can see it's still correcting. So we are still looking to pull back down. And I actually estimate that this is our B wave. Okay, so let me just tidy some of this up. Okay, so we've got a lot of subwave counts and lots of noise going on this hourly chart. But essentially, if I actually just say that that was your A, we're going to come down into a B, and then we move up into a C, we actually end up with this as a much bigger macro for our 4th wave, okay, wherever this may land eventually, okay, and you know, this actually helps us understand, you know, what is likely to happen next. Okay, so just be aware of that. I'm looking at this as a B wave, but if we do lose this through a 3rd wave low, then we've started our 5th wave drop already. Okay, and you know, actually that wouldn't be a bad idea, because we have a validation of a macro move to the upside on the daily here that would come in at 3.317. I've spoken about this before, and we want to stay above 3.317. But we know we haven't got any real objections to moving higher than 7098, right? So we could move higher than that. That's okay. There's no major issues with that. But I would have issues if we were to drop down lower than 3.317. And yeah, we want to make sure that we move up high enough so that when Bitcoin pulls back down, that Zilliqa holds up above 3.317. I'm concerned at this point. I will say I'm concerned that it's potentially going to drop down lower, and that would invalidate the structure on the daily chart, and I wouldn't want that because that has some really cool projections associated with it, so some good level for Zilliqa that regard. But let's talk about this recent move over here. Let's see what's going on, right? So inside this move here, it doesn't look like it's impulsive. It hasn't gone far enough down, and we are probably tracking some kind of WXYXZ because of the way that this is currently moving. I would look at it something like this. We haven't got overlap. It could be a 5-wave move, but I wouldn't expect it to be a 5-wave move. Instead, you know, I think it's just choppy corrections. It might actually end up being, you know, a series of rather long corrections to kind of bottom out. Now, obviously, we want to make sure that we hold above this yellow line here, and I'm just going to mark that in here as 3.99. Okay, that's the area that we kind of want to stay inside as we kind of think about this fourth wave move. We pull back down, then we should surge on up. So if we were to look at this as a one-to-one, as we start thinking about this correction, moving on down, now we could articulate this as the start of our fifth wave, and if that is the case, then Zilliqa might actually be faring reasonably well. Possibly just holding, so it'll be interesting to see. This could potentially take us down to 4.1, possibly a little bit lower, so watch out for that 3.99 cent level. Lose that, then we are probably in this fifth wave low, and if that is the case, then our targets for the fifth wave low change quite a bit. It's still right in this zone, so yeah, I mean, we would want to be cautious at losing 3.3. It's still very much possible, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one. I am concerned that if we do lose that, the larger structure is still good. It's just limited at that point. Okay, so thinking about this, we have the 4.125 as a simple correction, so we could look at it as something like this, and it's not anything too major. Alternatively, we could potentially be looking at the drop much sooner, and in which case what we might end up with is something that would look like this. We pull back down probably to around here, we surge up, and then we pull back down into a fifth wave. And again, we want to stay above 3.317. Now the issue with this is we'd have to have Zilliqa do something vastly different if Bitcoin goes up whilst Zilliqa goes down. When Bitcoin goes down, Zilliqa must go up. Otherwise, we really will lose that 3.317. So we're kind of keeping a good eye on that. Hopefully this is making sense to a lot of you guys, and it isn't overly confusing. But essentially what we've got is the potential to go in both directions still. We could still be in the fourth wave move, or we could have started our fifth wave drop. And then the reason I say this is that there are potentially, you could argue that you've kind of got this as a five wave move. To me, it doesn't make sense that this is the case, but it is possible, technically speaking, that that's a five wave move. So if that's the case, then it's possible that over this side, we also start to see a five wave move drop down, which I would expect. Okay, this would be taking us down to that 4.125 at least. But potentially actually come down lower, and then obviously we bounce and then we move back down again. So that's one scenario. This is probably a slightly more bearish scenario, but yeah, just something that we should be aware of. Alternatively, of course, we track on up and we still are in the fourth wave, and this here is the move that we're looking at, and again just taking us higher towards that 7 cent range, and then we pull back down, and that gives us a little bit of a buffer zone to be protected from when Bitcoin pulls back as well, because a five wave drop should happen over this side, staying above 3.317. That's kind of the objective, and something that we want to make sure actually happens. So in an ideal world, we want to move up so that we can protect ourselves on the next pullback down. However, it is possible that we've started our fifth wave low, our fifth wave move down, and that's going to get very, very close to 3.317, and I would be concerned that we lose that. So if I come up into our daily chart here, and I just show you guys what's my kind of thinking, what's my concern here, is that this is a wave one, the five wave structure that we had up as we got close to the previous all-time high. We dropped down into this move here, and we have to stay above 3.317 in order to make sure that we have a third wave up higher. If we go down lower, then essentially there is no third wave, and we can remove that. It simply isn't going to be a thing. Instead, what you end up with is just corrections, and it becomes maybe an expanding flat or something like that, or maybe we don't even have that at all, and so therefore everything gets kind of pulled into question. So I want to make sure that we keep above 3.317 so that we have this third wave afterwards, which would put us at approximately $1 on the scale here for Zilliqa. And then of course we have that larger target of $3.78. So I want to kind of keep this structure. I want this to kind of be in place, and losing it is not something that I want to see here. Now this is probably some kind of really complex correction. So we are probably seeing some kind of WXYXZ and all that kind of stuff. We want to make sure that we're above 3.317, have the third wave, and then we are really in a good structure. But I will leave the video there if you found it useful and informative. Hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. Smash that thanks button down below. Really would appreciate that too. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications. And in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. So with all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.